Hi boys, Mr. Griggs here running you through how your Mymarcellin course page is going to work for Psychology 3-4 in 2017. So what you can see is I've logged into my Mymarcellin page here, and I'm going to go down and find Psychology 3-4, the course page, and I click on the button there, and you can see here we've already populated the page for you guys. It's not completed yet, but we're certainly well on the way. Up the top you'll see just here we've got our assessment outline for the year. Basically there'll be 4 tests and 1 attempt at the poster, which is our Area of Study 3 assignment. So not many assessments before the big exam, which is 60%. So we will have plenty of practice questions throughout the year to make sure that you sort of know where you're at in terms of your results. But the main assessments will be 1 per area of study. So you'll also see underneath there we've got a little explanation of how to use the Mymarcellin ebook, which is where this video is. Then there's the Psychology Study Design, which we are dictated to use by the Victorian Curriculum Association. So that's where we get all our dot points from, directly from the study design. Then we've got a direct link to our podcasting website. So that's where you can access all of our podcasting resources with the click of one button. And then below that you've got a little link that I've put in there for which is an interview with a girl who scored 50 in psychology as a year 11 student, just the strategies that she used to be able to achieve that. So thought that might be a bit motivating for some of you, and also interesting to sort of hear the techniques that she uses, and obviously worked quite well for her. As we go down, we can see Unit 3 Area Study 1, and we've got 2 different topics within that area study. First one's nervous system functioning, and this little symbol here means it's an ebook. So when I click on this, you see a little book opens up here. So over on the right hand side of the page, just like a book, you've got a table of contents, and for each dot point within the study design we've created a plethora of resources for you guys to use. So this is our intro page here, just showing the structure of the nervous system. And when I go into my first page here, I can see the dot point 1 for the nervous system, and that's the first thing at the top is what the dot point, that's directly off the study design, and below that I've got resources for the content. So this is where you guys will be getting your content from. We've decided, rather than us standing up and delivering to you guys once and then the majority of you going home and wondering what did they talk about today, that you'll have access to our audio files at any time, which enables you to pause us, which I'd strongly encourage you to do when you're listening to our podcasts. So when I click on these podcasts, I have access to you'll have access to either myself or Miss Rice going through this particular dot point with you, utilising all the resources at our disposal, which we've got access to all 3 textbooks that are used across VCU study in all the schools in Victoria. So, and also obviously extra resources online that we've accessed. So that's our interpretation. That's the same way that we presented in class time. Our podcast is basically what we would be saying in class time, but it's a condensed and it's a more organised version of what we would say in class without the disruptions that class time tends to bring. Below that you've got the Oxford text reference, so that's your textbook, and that gives you direct pages to look at. And below that there's Ed Rollo video links. So that hasn't been populated yet because we haven't actually got Ed Rollo access to the new study design yet. So the moment that we've got that, we'll put in the links there for you guys to be able to watch those videos. So the great thing for you guys is you've got access to podcasting, so our own voice files, your teacher's interpretation of the study design. then you've got access to the text immediately. You don't need to flick through the text. You know exactly where the dot point relates to in the text. And then you've got the videos of another professional within our industry explaining it to you in potentially a different way, using a video file. So you've got really plenty of options there to be able to access the content, so the information relating to this particular dot point and every dot point across the study design. Below that, you've got student activities. So they've been structured from a 1 to 4 rating, and they've been structured that way to assist you guys with being active learners. So we're trying to minimise the amount of time we spend presenting to you guys. Obviously, there will be the need for that at times, particularly with class discussions, but we want to minimise the time that we stand in front of you presenting, and we want to maximise the amount of time that you spend doing activities and learning to enable you to best remember the material and apply the material in different ways. We think that'll be the way you'll be most successful, rather than sitting there listening to us for more than 50% of the year. And because we've got precious time with you guys, precious short time, then that means we've got to really be efficient in the way we present this to you. So what we've got as we run through, these activities are meant to be delivered, not meant to be delivered, they're meant to be done without the text or without any resources. So you'd listen to your content, you'd interpret it, you might make some notes, but you'd put all that away when you started doing the activities. The reason for that is we don't want you just sitting there and writing out notes again and again and again. That's not learning, that's just blurting stuff out and copying from a textbook. So that's not what we need. What we need is you guys to test yourself and really push yourself to be the best you can be. So when you're doing these activities, regardless of what level it is, you're doing them without the textbook. So you're okay to have a go at it, then open the textbook, refresh yourself, and then put the textbook away, and then have another go at it. That's fine. If it takes multiple attempts, that's what we're after. But we don't want you sitting there copying out of the textbook, because you'll learn absolutely nothing that way. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rating, and the idea is that everybody must complete the level 1 to progress onto level 2, and then you need to complete level 2 to progress onto 3, and then 3 to progress onto 4. So it's a ladder that you climb to get down to number 4. You don't just go, oh, I've done 1, I don't like number 2, I'll go down to 3. You must do each activity to demonstrate your knowledge, and also to practice your understanding, and I guess help you identify areas where you're weak in your knowledge, so that we can assist you in that. Once you've finished with your work on that area, so you may choose to go through and do all the activities. If you don't choose to do that, that's really on you. You should have enough time in class and throughout the extra study you're doing outside of school to be able to complete all 4 for each topic. You submit the work down here. So that's just a drop box that you'd submit your file into with all your work. So if you were doing like handwritten work, you'd take photos of it and you put it into one file so that it could be submitted there for us to look at. That we'll keep a track of the points that you accrue in these activities to keep you on track throughout the year. And I'll explain how that's all going to work in a separate file. Below, we've got the additional resources. So in this case, I've taken a picture from another text that I think might help you. It's a little bit of a average picture there, but we'll put additional resources, including websites that we might find relating to particular areas that will assist you in your further reading, but maybe aren't necessarily involved, or you might not be asked about them in an exam, or it might just be extra stuff that just helps with what you've already learned in the text. So maybe adding in, or another way of putting the information. So overall there, boys, that's how the ebook's going to work. The last part that I've got to go through with you is the question and answer forum. So what we want to do is, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. but what we also want you to do is we want you to put them in this question and answer forum. So that link, if you hit there, that'll open up and you can add a question in there and other people will be able to answer it as well. So it's not just about us as teachers answering the questions for you, it's about hopefully upskilling other boys in the class so that they can actually see the questions that are coming out and maybe answer them for you. So it's about really creating a learning community within the psychology department this year, so across our 2 classes. The final bit down there, exam style questions. You'll have access to a lot of exam style questions this year. Some of them will be hard copy, but we'll try and get some electronic ones for you because I just reckon they're really good for that immediate feedback. And they're also very easy to do, and like I said, that immediate feedback helps you know where you're at for that particular unit. So that's it for the moment, boys. If that anything in there hasn't made sense to you, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out.